Howdy gamers, Keith Hershey here. So today while I was napping and recovering, still recovering from my hand injury, uh, and I've been doing a lot of reminiscing on, the older styles of D&D and reading up on a lot of the technical, you know, names and all the different styles of D&D and whatnot, and it got me to thinking a lot. Uh, I did probably the bulk of my DMing was back in the days of when I used to live in a place called Los Banos, California. I used to run, I used to have my high school group. I used to run with several other groups. I'd play 5, 6 games a week for years. And then there were some days I would, um, once I got my driver's license, I'd drive down to my friend's house, Jason Miller, and that's where I met Truman. Um, and I'd game down there with those guys, and I still remember. I think that was the largest group I ever DM'd for was over at Chris's place. I think there was like 27 gamers or something. It was huge. I did it though. It was challenging. It was fun. Everyone had a blast. But I ran a game down there, and during that time, I did a lot of really unique gaming. Really pushed the boundaries, and I didn't know all the terms of doing different styles. And it wasn't just DMing D&D. It was some of it was like military game that I was working on way back in the day called the Code of Honor that I was working on developing. Unfortunately, through the years, I've lost it. I had put a lot of work into it during my high school years, and I was going to publish it. And yeah, maybe one day it'll show up. If it does show up, I will definitely get it out there. But it got to me thinking, there was times, I would do these like large scale battles, and I'd have everyone like role play um, different countries, and negotiating and role playing with each other and working out deals. And later did I know that was very similar to what they call the Bronstein thing. So in a way, I did that, and I didn't even know what it was. I did large scale combats. Back then, they had talked about the battle system, working it. It was really clunky for me, as I just kind of winged it and made my own systems to work. You know, large scale battles with tens of thousands of troops and whatnot. And we had a blast. And then it came to a time when I moved from California out here to Colorado. That was probably, I think that was probably stopped gaming probably summer of '95, because I think it was like November '95 when we moved out here. I could have gamed all the way up till right before I left too. I think I probably did, because I was a very active DM back then. Moved out here to Colorado. Didn't know anyone that gamed, and I lived, where I'm at now again. But it's a very rural area, and I think I found one D&D player, and they didn't have a group, so I didn't really play for a little while. I think it was a total of about 8 years by the time I got back to New Mexico. Got involved with the YouTube RPG Brigade and started, and then that's when you could start using the internet to play and find players too. So there was a little bit of a break during that time. And I remember when I was coming back and I was trying to get back in the thing, back into the swing of things. And there was a different edition, because when I left it was second edition. I think when I came back, oh, what was that? I think it was 3.5, um, and parts of 4th edition during that time when I was trying to come back. And I was watching videos on like how people were DMing because it'd been so long, trying to figure out how to, get back in the swing of things. And I remember I struggled a little bit with DMing, and I didn't know it at the time. Uh, but there are definitely different styles of DMing. And I think the biggest struggle I had was when I was DMing 2nd edition. It was the old OSR style of emergent play and stuff like that. And when I came back, it was more of the story driven style of DMing. Um, it's kind of hard to put it exactly to words, but there are different styles of games and whatnot. I'm definitely I've kind of known about them for a little bit now, but I've definitely been thinking on that, and that's why I struggle because I used to run one style. When I came back, all the videos were showing this other style, and I didn't know there was a difference in the styles. And I know I kind of struggle with it a little bit. I finally got my legs, and I've done really good, and a lot of people really enjoy my games. But it's definitely a different style, and that got me thinking too, because I am recently thinking of going back to the old school versions of gaming. Definitely seriously looking at going and starting up Adventure Conquer King system, the 2nd version, and that's more of the OSR version. So I'm struggling a little bit, kind of having to rethink and go that style. Um, I just have been finding some of the newer players. I've been trying to bring a lot of the newer players into the hobby, but a lot of them, they don't do any lifting at all. They don't help at all. And some of my players, they're curious and they keep asking, what the differences are. So I've been kind of going back to looking at the OSR and like, oh, maybe I should, run a campaign. So I'm at that point where I'm thinking of taking a step back. And it's not really a step back, just switching gears and trying the Adventure Conquer system. There's a lot of similarities, but there are some big differences in the way things run. I think ultimately, once I get my legs underneath me, I think I might enjoy that a little bit more. Because in the years past, I've spent so many hours preparing for games throughout the week, and it sometimes it can get a little exhausting. Um, Whereas the OSR version, it's a little more freeform, and you use more of your. Oh, I had the name. Um, Dang it. Improvise. I don't know why that took me a minute there to think about it. But back then I used to lean in and improvise a lot more than I do now. I still try and incorporate everyone's ideas into it, but it seemed like there was more of that back in the old day. Um, so yeah, so that's just some random thoughts there, and yeah, I've done a lot of DMing and just kind of come back. Also I'm trying to get this new campaign up, and I got all these things I'm thinking of doing, and it's like gotta telling myself just start small, build up on it again, build your momentum, and it just kind of reminded me back in the day when I didn't have all this cool terrain, I didn't have all the cool minis. I may have had 5 or 6 books. There was literally no terrain. I might have had a handful of minis and a couple sets of dice. So it's not all needed. It is cool to look at and play with as well. And for the newer players, I do find it is a bit easier for them to visualize and imagine when there's some terrain aids and whatnot. So I'm not going to give that up. But that's where I'm at, and that's what I'm looking at doing. Um, so yeah, just some random thoughts. Anyhow, happy gaming, and we'll talk to you later.